politely and placed a large tip on the bar. It was no mystery why he looked rumpled that evening. Not only had Rusty poured him half a dozen Sam Adams summer ales in the span of 2 hours, but Ash was a proud papa of a baby not yet sleeping through the night and was long overdue for a boys' night out. His wife, Rowan, had no complaints. In fact, she'd coordinated her father's birthday outing. Nat Ravel was the last of the four-man entourage to make his exit. The California expat and husband of Rowan's best friend, Annie, gulped down what was left of his fourth martini before he passed through the door with his good friends. "Later, dudes!" The group began a slow stroll along the waterfront, heading south toward Main Street. Fraser held his face into the sea breeze and gazed out over the boat slips. "Nothing better than a night out with the finest young men on Bayberry Island." "Thank you, Fraser." Even alcohol couldn't dull Ash's finely tuned manners. As Clancy had learned the last couple of years, his brother-in-law might have come from Boston Brahmin money, but he was as down-to-earth as anyone he'd ever known. "We're short one man, however, and that's just not right." Clancy braced himself, aware that his father was preparing to orate about his prodigal son, Clancy's older brother, Duncan. Before Fraser got started, he nearly tripped stepping onto the boardwalk. Clancy grabbed him. "How about we get you home in one piece, da?" His father grumbled, throwing an arm over his boy's shoulder as they strolled. "Now, let me tell you how things were back in the days of old Rutherford Flynn, my great-grandfather, the brilliant immigrant entrepreneur who first tamed this wild and stormy island." Fraser gestured grandly at the bistros, internet cafes, and lobster roll stands that surrounded the public dock. "Now, mind you, this was way before there were planes and diesel ferry boats and frozen custard on a damn stick. Did you know that the men of Bayberry Island lived and worked as a single unit? By God, they were together on the fishing boats all day and in the pub together at night. It was a sacred brotherhood." "Wouldn't want to be downwind from that bunch," Nat said. Ash chuckled. "That's an awful lot of fishin' and drinkin', but their wives weren't thrilled." Fraser raised a cautionary finger and scowled at his companions. "Bayberry men were rough around the edges, I'll give you that, but they were civilized. There was always a hot bath waitin' for 'em when they got home." Fraser's voice had grown progressively louder, and he now pointed skyward, a sure sign that he was reaching a rhetorical climax of some sort. "And after a good scrub, they made certain their women thanked the Lord for being born." The wild pontificating had caused Fraser to list to port. Nat propped him up from the other side, and Clancy nodded his thanks to his friend. "Let's keep moving, Da. We're almost there." "No, I need to say something." Fraser planted his tree trunk legs on the boardwalk and refused to budge. "We need to get together more often. I miss this. All of us together. It's how it should be." Ash patted his father-in-law on the back. "We see you nearly every day, Fraser, and since your official birthday party isn't for another week, there's plenty more celebrating to come." "Aw, hell, Ash. You know what I mean." Fraser sniffed as his gaze followed the movement of wispy night clouds. "Duncan should be here. He might be a Navy SEAL, but he is also one of us. A son of this island. My son." The group remained quiet for a moment, the younger men exchanging glances. Eventually, Clancy cleared his throat. "Duncan's not ready for a pub crawl, Da. He'll be home as soon as he's discharged for outpatient therapy." "Nonsense." Fraser leveled his gaze, his cheeks red from the alcohol and the oncoming rush of sentiment. "That boy is strong as a bull shark, and one day real soon he'll be healthy enough to get himself shipped out to some far corner of the world, the way he always does. Damn it, we all know why Duncan didn't come home in time for my birthday. For the last 16 years, that boy's only come home a few days each year, always during festival week, and never a day more. His absence tonight has nothing to do with his injuries."